I wanted to transition into something that we spoke about before we got on, and it kind of ties into the network thing, but brotherhood versus guilt, especially guilt when it comes around society and particularly women trying to use guilt as really one of the only tools that they have. They're not going to kick your ass.
Hmm.
They can't fight you. They can take sex away, but if you are a high enough level man and they know that you can replace, or get other sex, and that's kind of taken away.
Hmm.
And then you have guilt. And guilt, I think, stands out really large when it comes to brotherhood because it's one of those things where, oh, why do you live with Sterling? Or why would Andrew and Tristan live together?
Hmm.
Um, all people that have pretty high net worth, and the only attack mechanism in that situation is guilt. And we were talking about that before, and I'm very interested in what you think about creating brotherhood in your life and having kind of your guy six so the outside world can't penetrate and you're not isolated.
Yeah. It's not given enough value. Like I have my own community too as well, and this year there's going to be a big focus on developing that community in such a way that the elite level members are essentially all going to be anti-fragile, right? So I think I'd want to boil that point down, that brotherhood,
Sure.
to you want an anti-fragile life. I mean, you want a life and that you can live that when chaos comes at it, when trauma comes at it, when weird shit comes at it, you've got tools, resources, and you got your boys in your inner circle that got your back. And if they don't, then why are they in your life? Like why would you have a roommate that is trying to bang your girl, for example, that you got over, or is like hitting on her in the morning, sort of thing, or like shit talking, behind your back when you're in the shower, right? You wouldn't have a guy like that for a roommate. You get rid of the fucking guy or you move out, right? If you figured that out pretty quick. So, yeah, like men need to test each other and they need to hold each other accountable. So most guys, to the question of that shame and guilt that women try to throw at you, like, oh, why don't you grow up and get your own place? Why do you live with a porn star, sort of thing? It's like because I like it. He's my
Yeah.
boy. Why don't you just
Yeah,
fuck
that's
off?
it.
Basically, is the way that you got to handle it, right? And it's like, you know, those kinds of relationships, like those kinds of friendships, are some of the most important that you can develop as a guy. Most guys never get to that point. They don't have guys that got their back. They don't have guys that are competent. They don't have guys that have combat skills. They don't have guys that have connections and resources and know how to solve problems, right? That's really important. I mean, if you want to live a great life as a guy, if you want to be as anti-fragile as possible, you need people like that in your network. And most dudes don't even consider that. They'll balk at me. They'll be like, "Oh, well, you charge X amount of dollars to enter your community." It's like, yeah. Well, could I do monthly installments? No, because if you can't rub together the money, you're not a good fit, dude. Like I welcome you back when you've got the means to join in and you can pass, the test, sort of thing. But no, I'm not having it, right? Like like this is why I'm doing these things, and it's like real important. You got to find a tribe. Jack Donovan. I don't know if you've read his books.
I've not. I know who he is.
Yeah, like if you get into like the way of man and becoming a barbarian, like those are all important from the perspective of you need strong, virtuous men in your inner circle that can hold you accountable and that got your back. Really important.
Man, I love that. One thing that makes me think of is I paid to go to a certain seminar this year, and my ops manager asked me. She said, "Justin, don't you think you've learned enough?" And what I told her is I don't think you understand. At some point, you're paying to be in the room with certain people
Yeah.
because
Your network
entrepreneurship.
is your net worth, right? So
You're
it's not
absolutely
just a
right.
learning event, but it's the people that end up in the room at that learning event.
Right. I have one goal. I have one goal when I go. If I can go to a conference or a seminar or read a book or whatever it is, and I can learn or take away one thing that I have in my tool belt for life, worth it. But
Yeah.
more importantly, if I can walk away with a contact for life, then it paid for itself 10 times over.
Yeah, a lot of people, because I'm a big car guy, I think that, they'll say, why do you spend so much money on a car? It's
Yeah,
such a
the
waste of
guys in
money.
those
It's,
groups.
blah blah blah. You know, they just appreciate. It's like throwing money down the toilet. Blah blah. It's like, like
Yeah.
not only do I enjoy driving it, and does it deliver a big smile on my face. I mean, it's the most fun you can have with your clothes on it. You know, at the end of the day. But I also
Yeah.
get to network with other men that can afford that kind of car that'll have interesting lives as well, right? So you know, I was talking to Tristan about a month or so ago. I know he's one of your boys, and he was telling me about the Bugatti, and I'm like, yeah, yeah, yeah. Talk about the network part of that. He's like, well, that's why we bought the car, because now you can get invitations to exclusive
Right.
events that Bugatti hosts, and now you're in a room with people that can afford a $5 million car, right?
Right.
It's not just about the car. It's not just about the badge. It's also about, buying your way into a room. And a lot of dudes discount that. Like they'll make fun of it. They'll be like, you spend or that's stupid or blah blah. It's like that's a big word salad for saying that you're broke and that you don't want to do the work,
Right.
right?
Right. And that's another thing guys will do, just like women, is if you're doing something outside their frame and they have any envy over it, they can come after you with guilt or something that makes you seem like you're in the wrong for it.
There's a lot of
You know?
feminized guys today, and all they do is they just default to that program because they see women do it. They were raised in a single mother household, and they think that they saw mom or their sister or whoever point and sputter when they didn't get their way. And it's like we've got this massive like chunk of the population that loves to embrace a victim mindset. And it's like, you know what, dudes? I'll tell you guys right now, it's never been easier to stand out from the crowd than it is today. There's a lot of weak, pussified men out there that just want to play the victim card and put pussy up on a pedestal and bend the knee to, the female first primary social order sort of thing. And it's like guys that stand out from that noise, that are doing the work, that are strong, that are competent, that have game, that are captivating, that have an interesting life, all those things. They're the ones that stand out from the crowd, right? So I mean, you can point and sputter all you want. I've seen what you praise. I've seen what you losers and you crybabies praise. Your criticism means absolutely nothing to me.
Yeah, I completely agree with you.